For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile, Andy Sterling, joining you for the beginning of week number 3 here in Saratoga. It's an absolutely glorious day. We'll start the day with a steeplechase race in race number 1. Anthony and I won't be discussing that, but we will be discussing it. Joe Clancy and I in a paddock, as well as Liza Hendricks will be here, but we'll be on a little bit before 1 o'clock, talk about that, and he'll also kick off the Saratoga Live Show on Fox with us, or both of them as well. You need to head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, become a member of Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. You, Essential Quality, all the crew can become members of Naira Bets. We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. Of course, Essential Quality, you see in that slate. He will be appearing Saturday in the Jim Dandy in his prep for the Travers, which, of course, comes up much, much later, I believe the 28th of August. What else do we have? We have the Saturday contest. You have until tomorrow at 5 p.m. to sign up for that. Friday at 5 p.m. Right, I forget that, right, because we're here. Right, we don't usually race in New York when Wednesday's on New York. Thank you, Anthony. I knew you were here for some reason. Anyhow, go to naira.com/contests. 1 to 6:30 today on FS2 all day long.
I'm the eye candy.
If you're eye candy,
I am.
There's a lot of people throwing up.
Okay, well.
Anthony actually cheated on his days off.
Did not.
Anthony played a round of mini golf. He's claiming that his mother demanded that he play mini golf.
I owed her a round of golf.
I don't know how many grown men out there.
I owed her a round of golf at Adventurers for Mother's Day.
Took him to play mini
for
golf.
Mother's Day.
But he's cheating for the big matchup coming up next Monday.
By the way, I have a little message that Louis Lazzanaro from Nove. I'll be at Nove tonight, by the way. Shocker.
If the place blows up, I'll be glad I wasn't there.
Nove would like to...
Louis may not want to have that risk.
Louis would like to, just for the record, say that when we win, we will be donating the same $5,000 should we lose to another thoroughbred charity. So,
I mean, should you win?
When
the
we
loser
win.
has to pay.
When we win.
No, I'm saying in the odd event that either Kirk Wyckoff and I suffer some sort of injury in the match and you win by forfeit, you will also donate by. That's very generous.
When we win, we will donate.
What is the other charity?
It's going to be the Belmont Child Care Association.
Excellent. So we will be. Well, we'll speak to Kirk about that. Kirk Wyckoff of 3 Diamonds will be sponsoring my team with the loser paying $5,000 to thoroughbred. We just call ourselves the winners.
Wow.
A team name. Well, I mean, I guess we'd have to be 3 Diamonds, right?
I would imagine you have to be 3 Diamonds. I would imagine we're Team Nove.
Yeah, I know your Team Nove.
White pizza.
Anyway. Race number 2.
I am Team Nove, that's correct.
Race number 2. So, Anthony, how are you kicking off the week in race number 2?
Well, Andy, I'm going to go to clinch. I had a little bit of a tough time with this heat.
I can see.
Yeah, well... Of course you can. You know, I think there are a lot of horses in this race. I think you got to, when you look at this heat, there are a lot of horses in this race that they're off form, and their better days may very well be. Yeah, well,
Who are they?
Okay, I think Yodelei, who's off form.
I don't agree.
I think Madison's Luna's off form.
I don't agree.
I think Rejected Again is off form.
I'm not so sure. He hasn't been on the dirt in a while.
Okay.
But his form's a little questionable.
I think
it's 1 out of 5. You took 2 of my top 2 choices are off form.
I think
clearly I disagree with your nonsense.
Clearly you do. I think Clinch is the horse that has been keeping some better company. You know, this is a 40. The 50 he ran against last time just felt exponentially tougher than this 40. To me. anyway. You see
Clearly.
horses like Town Classics and Mitres Porcientos and even Happy
Mitres
Farm. to an extent.
Porciento ran poorly off a layoff, and Happy Farm, whose form is somewhat mediocre, did finish second there. So I'm not so sure that race was always cranked up to be, but okay.
Clench found some of his speed that he had a couple of years ago. Last time
That's because
out.
Happy Farm got a ridiculous ride, and they rated him.
He did,
And that was
but he
silly.
still found his speed. He was still more forward than he had been in a very long time. I don't know if that was a function of Happy Farm being rated.
Okay, so do you like him because
I
you
like him
think
because
he's-
I feel like he woke up last time
Okay.
with the speed.
But he ran better in his prior
against
race.
Better.
He ran better in his prior race.
He gets back to 6 furlongs now, which I think is a better distance for him. He has the race for Rudy under his belt. I think, even though it's only a $10,000 drop in the tag, I think he is facing a significantly easier bunch tomorrow. today.
We'll probably disagree. Hopefully for me, we'll disagree a lot more today and the rest of this week because I couldn't disagree more. I do think Clench is not impossible in here. I don't disagree. We'll see how much speed Fox Red shows from the inside. I think that Rockin' the Boat and Madison's Luna are both dangerous in this race. We'll take a look at them finishing second and third at Churchill Downs last time out. The Speed won this race. They finished second, third behind them. I thought Madison's Luna actually ran fairly well in this race. Kind of blocked a little bit at times, had a little bit of trouble. I thought ran very, very well, and I actually thought Madison's Luna was the worst to beat. It's clear that Phil Bauer has come up here with the right horses. He's got a couple of wins. He should have been placed first in yesterday's second race on Sunday. There should have been an inquiry in that race, and there probably should have been a disqualification of the winner, who drifted a significant 3 or 4 pass and made contact as well. Having said that, he's alive. So I think Madison's Luna is just a very, very logical horse in this race. As far as Yodely Ahu, or whatever. Blinkers on. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on this. On recent moves, you can even see it in the short stats. Brittany Russell's been winning with this move. He broke about 3/4 slow last time after sort of brushing the gate at the start, and I think it took him out of his element against a much, much tougher field. I mean, you want to go on and on about Clench being in a tougher field. It's sort of lost to Endorsed and Jalen Journey and Montauk Traffic, who are in a different galaxy. And 3-back, this horse ran a race that'll absolutely blow this field out of the water. Now, I'm not saying that I'm 100% confident that he'll run this race. But if he runs the race he ran 3-back, heads will be spinning as he flies by them. You don't have him in the top 4.
I don't like this horse at all. I think he's off form.
I get
He's
it.
lost all of his speed.
I get it.
I think that's an issue.
There's been a very, very good angle horses you on the top 4 in short fields over the last couple of days. So I'm maybe loading up on Yodel Ahu.
You know, you certainly pick your spots.
Well, there are plenty of them. I'll move on. Race number 3. This is the New York Stallion Series on the turf. This is the Cab Calloway, I believe.
Heidi,
You
ho.
must have like a Cab Calloway story.
Sure. I mean, Cab Calloway for years sat across from the bench that me and my mom and dad sat at Aqueduct for years. He sat next to the old binocular stand when you first come up the
Remember the old
escalator.
binocular stand?
To the left.
Tony's
next
still
to,
around.
Yeah, next to Pam and Pat. Mother and son duo that rented the binoculars on the first floor at Aqueduct. And Cab Calloway was there all the time. He would present
Is
trophies.
it the first
when,
floor or the second floor?
It was the first floor. Well,
we consider
it's the
it
first.
the first floor.
It's
We're
the
in the
first floor.
dungeon.
We're in the dungeon.
Well, I'm in the
When we
dungeon.
walk in, we're kind of in the dungeon, and you take the escalator straight up. But Cab was there. I mean, every day for years upon years.
I saw Cab Calloway at Aqueduct almost every day.
300 times. Yeah, 400
so,
times.
Race number 3, we'll take a look at the New York Stallion Series and the first 3 finishers, and maybe even more. I think 4 finishers or 5 finishers or 9 finishers are coming back. And Ocala Dream has run very well for Tom Morley, who you and he shared the horrible opinion last time that he'd need more distance, and 7 furlongs was too short. Never the case. And today he's got to go that mile and a 16th, and we'll see. Maybe he's going to be even better. And if they're right and you're right, he's better, then he won't beat Steph Dancer again. But I think of the 2, I prefer Steph Dancer. I'll tell you something. Barrage, who's now in Danny Gargan's barn and picks up Irad Ortiz, Barrage ran very, very well in this
really
race.
well.
And I wouldn't completely dismiss him either.
No.
Problem is he was 100-1 last time, and today's a very small fraction
Right.
of the price.
And he gets the rider change to a rad, so that's going to take some money. He gets an equipment change. He gets more ground. He improved last time. You figure listen, like you said, if he makes another jump forward for Danny Gargan, he'll be right there today. Problem is, he was 52-1 last time.
Right.
He figures to
that.
be 4-1 today.
So, go on about Steph Dancer?
Well, I mean, Steph
Ocala?
Dancer, I thought, didn't have the cleanest of trips last time out. I do think he's a horse that does want a little bit more ground. He was impressive. It wasn't that fast of a race, but he looked good breaking his maiden when the pace collapsed in his debut up here, but he does have the win up here. I like his two-turn efforts a little bit more than his one-turn efforts, and I don't know if that's just a function of more ground. I think it could very well be more ground.
He's only run a two-turn race.
Well, the mile and the 16th races at Belmont are two-turn races.
Not really, but okay. They're not. But
yeah, they are. They start right on the. They start right before the turn. They're two-turn races.
they're not. They don't. They start on a turn actually, but they don't. They're no start before a turn. They start on a turn.
I thought his races.
Misnomer.
I thought his races with a little bit more ground. It's only a mile today, but I feel like last time, if he gets a cleaner trip, he gets the job done at 7. I think he wants a little bit more ground. I'm going to try Steph Dancer today.
Yeah, I think they're both fine. I probably prefer Steph Dancer. I think it's a bit of a coin flip between the two, but I'm going to bet Dreamer's Disease again. And listen, I liked him last time, and he was hideous, and there's no doubt about it. He's a new gelding for this race, I believe,
he is.
Right? Something must have gone badly wrong. Because I can't believe Robertino Diodoro would run this horse back in this race, off that last race, unless whether he flipped his palate or something went wrong.
Well, he broke through the gate also, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but he didn't run off that badly. He was a disaster.
But I don't think it has anything to do with the runoff. I don't think people realize how much energy these horses expend breaking that gate open.
And run effectively all the time.
I guess.
So I don't.
My problem with him is 2 of his 3 turf races, and I know they're under extraordinary circumstances. They're just not very good in that one race.
That's actually incorrect. His second turf race was actually extremely good effort. That was a monstrously fast pace at Kentucky Downs that completely and totally incinerated. So actually, that's a misnomer. He actually ran very well in both of his first turf starts.
You don't worry that it looks like he needs things
Anthony,
to himself.
I obviously like him. I'm betting on him today. Am I confident that he's going to be able to wire the field? Absolutely not. There's no way that you can have complete confidence.
Devious Mo kind of has to go from out there,
No,
right?
he's faster than Devious Mo. You can keep going over this over and over again. He's going to be in front in here. The question with him is whether or not he's going to run competitively.
You're completely convinced Devious Mo can't be on top of him in here.
Right. Okay. Yes. But if you want to bet on it, you can. You can bet on it.
I'm good.
Okay. Certainly bet on that.
I just don't know. I just can't see how
By the way, we start week number 3 at 81 lunches.
I can't see how a horse...
My goal of 100 lunches is becoming well in reach.
I can't see how a horse in the 8 path going a mile on the inner turf coming out of sprint races isn't going to be aggressively ridden to try to get over the top.
I didn't say he wouldn't be aggressively ridden. I didn't say he wouldn't be sitting second.
But you said Dreamer's Disease would be in front.
I said he'd be in front.
Okay.
You have a chance to bet on it if you'd like.
Okay.
We could bet a few lunches, and I could get up to 100 by the end of next week if you want. Race number 4. Did you catch a flyer in race number 4 with the scratch the 7 East Wing?
I didn't pick East Wing.
I know. It was going to be to your detriment.
Why?
Because she was going to win.
Oh, okay.
But now we both scratch into
You're
number
so
6.
sick. East Wing was going to win this race. Based on what?
There's probably a few out there that agree that East Wing got quite the trip in her last start against Kazar. It was an extraordinarily interesting horse, but she will have to play another day. We'll look at Kazar as now going to be an overwhelming favorite off the claim for Rob Atras. Finished second last time. She got a good trip in here, but she's probably going to win this race.
Yeah, that's not real. I really liked Kazar. The only horse I wanted to mess around with a little bit was Hollywood Gina, just hoping she needed a race against much tougher last time. She's out now. It looks like Kazar to me.
The problem with Kazar, though, Anthony, is that she's 1 for 23.
Yeah, it's first time actress, though.
Once again, the problem with Kazar is that she's 1 for 23 with 9 seconds and thirds. And I agree. Obviously, Rob Atras, and a big win for Rob and CCA Oaks this past weekend. He's a trainer who's done very, very well off the claim. And obviously, that's a bit of a huge move up, claimed by Michael Dubb. Yes, but still a 1 for 23 horse. And those horses do find ways to lose.
You're not wrong about that, but
I know, it's a fact.
we're looking at you're looking at some horses in Casilda 40 Tails who beat a very weak bunch of
Well,
maidens.
hang on a second. Casilda 40 Tails is loose in this race, and she's got off the claim for Orlando Noda, and I know they had been a bit quiet, but in the 8th race on Sunday, they made a sonic boom.
Okay.
No, they got
There was a story about that horse.
But no,
that horse bled the last 2 times without Lasix. They got the Lasix back.
What about the 9 times before that? Forgetting about that.
Okay.
That horse, they can come with whatever stories they want. That horse improved.
That story's not from them.
That horse improved tremendously off of 2 years. Best race that horse is running over 2 years. And it's a
Don't
horse
disagree.
that's better with more ground. And this is a trainer who has improved a lot of horses off the claim. So I think you have to be scared of Gazilda 40 Tails after what we saw here on Sunday.
I guess. I mean, this is a horse whose 2 best races came on sloppy tracks. There's no way around that. This horse's 2 best races were 6 points better on sloppy tracks than anything else. This horse beat a very weak bunch of maidens, and then
well, wait a second, Anthony. The horse's race of a 53 buyer in December of 2019 was as a 2-year-old. So I don't think the fact that 2 years later the horse was running figures 6 points higher should be totally attributable to a wet track.
That's fine.
And the reality is that on paper, this horse is the clear speed in this race for a trainer that's very dangerous off the claim, very dangerous with his horses, and had a horse that made a huge...
She also has to get 7. I know you don't worry about that as much as I do.
Well, I actually prefer 7 for speed horses,
7?
And we've gone through this 100 times. Speed horses at 7 get slower paces. Well, you have a distance situation that doesn't play out in reality.
I know what you're saying about the weekend. I think...
Well, it's not just that. She's completely loose. I mean, you're talking about Hollywood. Oh, I thought Hollywood Gina scratched.
She's out. I said that. She's out. Miss Alex, to me, is the other horse now. And
I'll take the 1 over the 5 for how many lunch? 1 for lunch.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. Got our first lunch bet of the week. I'm excited. Race number 5. We'll take a break after race number 5. Race number 5 will start the pick 6. It is not the concluding leg of the pick 5 because pick 5 begins in race number 2.
Correct.
What'd you do?
I went to the 2. I went to the number 1, Raw Courage.
I think we saw the race.
You and I flipped it up. Yeah, you and I just flipped it up. Going the 2 turns on the turf, I am going to ordinarily lean towards a horse who has experience. Not only does this horse has 2 races, both at 5 furlongs, a couple of sloppy track tries, draws inside. With the experience, the inside draw going a mile and a 16th. I could have coin flipped between the 1 and the 3 with the 3's pedigree. I'll let you talk about the 3, but I went to Raw Courage the horse with the experience just because of the mile and
3's
the 16th.
pedigree isn't exactly stellar.
Well, the man was 3 for 4 on the turf. The lone sibling won on the turf.
Lone sibling is Baseline Drive, who's a Chad Brown horse who took about 8 starts to.
But he's hit the board in 6 and 9 starts
yeah,
as
she's
well.
not much horse.
But at least.
And they handle the turf. No, it's a pedigree, but I'm not. It's not exactly.
She's Zevo, right? She's the half the Zevo.
Probably is that family because I think it's Tom
Isn't
Coleman.
Half the Zevo?
Well, isn't corner 3 in the Zevo? Isn't that a?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed inside in here, Raw Courage. I think with Raw Courage, it's declaration of war. There really isn't much turf pedigree there on the dam side, but Jorge Abreu wanted to get this horse onto the turf. And
twice.
Probably has speed from the inside, and you have to use that horse. I think you have to use the 2. The dam produced 1 horse to try the turf. She was a multiple winner on the turf. She was no superstar. She was actually better. The dam of Toga Dancer was a little bit better than the dam of Timbuktu.
She was a stakes winner on the turf, though, the dam of the 2, yeah.
She got a 91 buyer. She was actually pretty good.
291,000. She was 4 for 31. Yeah.
$10,000 scared me a little bit for the fall for Toga Dancer. The fact that she only sold for $10,000, but she also
disagree with that.
She sold as a weanling, so yeah, it's understandable why she sold for a little bit less.
And you feel like the Mike Maker first is the number 8 in particular.
I'm glad you brought
Regal
up that.
Empire.
Mike Maker's first-time starters. How about this stat? 2-year-old first-time starters in turf routes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, he's 0 for 8 with New York breds, 2 hitting the board.
That's interesting.
Then you have to root against this horse, the 3 Diamonds horse. You got to have
evil
thoughts for 3
I had
Diamonds.
Kirk's double the other day.
Yeah, but you got a week from now, he's going to be your arch enemy on that golf course.
Listen, you got to learn how to keep things separate, Andy. This is the problem. You carry this animosity from the set to the mini golf course.
Anthony's been carrying animosity since kindergarten.
You have no chance.
I'm gonna like most people, going to focus on the inside 3 in this race and see how it plays out. I think this is the first New York bred turf route 2-year-old race.
I believe it is.
We will take a break. Rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
That's actually inaccurate.
After a word from our wonderful sponsors at Saratoga Water.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Arguing Horses, presented by Saratoga Water, continues. Anthony Stabile
That's me.
to the left, fresh off a clandestine mini golf trip. Race number 6, probably one of the heavier favorites on today's card, if not the heaviest, is the 6 Cody's Wish. I want to show a half mile of the race, and despite probably not getting the best of trips, to be kind in here, in a very strong field, Cody's Wish ran some race, gets completely shuffled out here behind horses, loses valuable position in a race that was being dominated forward, has a pedigree that suggests that he should have no problem getting better with distance. And this is a very strong maiden field, but this looks like he might be a very good horse.
Here's your stupid question. You think the momentum could have cost him the race last time?
I doubt he would have won, but
He's
I think
definitely second, right?
Well, yeah, it would have been very, very close. I don't disagree. This is a serious horse. Muhammad will finish third in that killer non-winners of one we ran here on the opening Saturday. This is a horse, if he runs back to his debut with a fair trip, he's going to win this race in all likelihood, unless somebody steps up.
And despite the trouble, he kept on running. So it looks like the added distance is going to be no problem.
He looks like a
for him.
potential
He's a
real
have to
runner.
endorsed who was stakes faced around the 2 turns
He
as
did
well.
break his maiden first time out going short up here.
He did. One going 3/4, I believe, for Kieran. Then I think he won
He'd had
going
a plan.
3/4 again off the layoff. But yeah, he looked like a horse that's going to handle a little bit more ground. He's certainly bred to handle more ground
Yes,
by curling
that
out of
he
a
is.
tappet mare. So it shouldn't be an issue. And I agree with you, Andy. If he shows up with his race, I think they're going to be running for second money today.
Yeah, you don't want to say his horses are locks. They have to run them. And this is a good field.
And it's not Mott's birthday. That's not till tomorrow.
I couldn't. I mean, other than wishing you a happy birthday, Bill, I really don't fall into that trap of Bill Mott wins on his birthday nonsense. Bill Mott wins on an awful lot of days.
He does.
Sometimes on
A
his
lot of
birthday.
birthdays.
But,
A lot of different
but
people's
a lot of his,
birthdays.
right, a lot of different people's birthdays. Okay. Here's, by the way, in case you need more stretching out with maidens, since their second start, Bill's got good numbers, in case you need a little backup on that. Not that you need that on a short-priced horse. Anthony, on what planet is I Am the Law going to finish second in this race?
This is it for me. This is my this is divorce
This is
papers.
you're jumping off the
This is
roof after this horse
this
runs
is
last
divorce
today?
papers day. Why last?
Well, he's
Why would he
probably
run
he will
last?
beat Lucky Brody, probably beat Unexpected and Zuzu.
Oh, so hold
King.
on. You think he's going to run last? So you want to say? I'll say he beats half the field. He finishes.
No,
one
but
through
I
4.
will certainly bet you that he's not in the superfecta.
Okay, that's the same bet. I said he was going to beat half the field. It's the same thing.
Okay. One worse than fourth. How can he be involved in this race?
I'm basically giving you the push on fifth place. That was all I was.
No, it's not a push. I win.
No, I was
fifth.
going to say I'm giving that to you.
Okay, how is he going to beat Absolute Courage, who finished second to Miles D, who's a contender on Friday in the curling?
But let me ask you a question. What led you to believe that more distance was going to be what Absolute Courage wanted after, I don't know, he pretty
What
readily
leads
gave
you to
up the
believe
lead
that I Am
last
the
time?
Law is even remotely competitive enough that it matters? What are we looking at here?
What's wrong with...
By the way, okay. Well, now we're going to... Guys, can we rewind this? I'm sorry. I really want to talk about it earlier. Do you mind? I apologize. I didn't realize we were talking about another race. Can we just finish the I Am the Law conversation, and then we'll get to the, if you don't mind, in that replay, please?
I mean, what's wrong with his form?
He couldn't even win an off-the-turf race against Land Biscuit. He's running in probably the toughest mile and an eighth maiden race we'll see in Saratoga in a few years. Pipeline, who I know you thought was a turf horse, is actually a dirt horse, actually ran very well behind First Captain in his first race and was extraordinarily green and is apparently, according to workout reports, training extremely well since that race. Vindictive comes out of the Absolute Courage race, and we'll show it. Vindictive is apparently a very, very fast worker in the morning, and I'll tell you a story as we go on. We can watch that now. I'm sorry, Absolute Courage finished second. I don't love Absolute Courage only because he's going to be a shortish price, and I think there are better price plays in this race than him. But I'm not overly concerned about the distance. If Shug McGahee thinks he can get a mile and an eighth, I'm okay. The point I wanted to make about Beatbox in this race was I didn't think the rail was good this day. I don't know there was a total dead rail. And even though Beatbox gets off it, he spent the majority of the race on the rail, and they think he still ran a very credible race in his second race after getting bet first time and not showing up last fall. Vindictive was coming out of here an extremely heavily touted off his workouts and didn't get bet that day. And it's funny because I saw Top Fletcher at Belmont for what it's worth, And I said, you know, Vindictive, I said something, and Vindictive, it worked so well. And Todd said, I really think he'll run better second time out. So I said, he runs better. And Pipeline, who we mentioned before, has been working well. To me, these are all horses that are significantly better than anything that I Am the Law has ever done on the racetrack. So I just think, I mean, listen, if you like a 6-1, go for it. But I just don't see how he's competitive with so many other horses in this race. It's such a layered and deep race that I understand. I mean, why do you like him? I just felt like
he's got some form. He has some form at the 9 furlongs and the added distances, and these other horses all have to answer that question today. And I think that's. I do think that's important.
So you think none of them will handle the mile and 1/8?
I didn't say none of them, but I'm saying I'm going to find out at double-digit prices with some horses who, quite frankly, I didn't really like anything. I don't like anything Absolute Courage has done. And I think everything you just said kind of corroborates that.
But Absolute Courage actually improved with distance. And now you're telling me you don't think he wants more distance.
You're saying he improved with distance, but you have an excuse for Pipeline. You kind of have an excuse for Beatbox. They're both going to be bigger prices than him.
But I think they're all better horses.
Okay.
Let me just remind you of something. The last time I Am the Law ran and you picked him, you told us that day that John Terranova told you he'd be a turf horse.
He did. And
so now he's a dirt horse.
He called the yielding. He's run well enough on both surfaces.
He's not a bad horse.
He caught a bog that day, Andy. I wouldn't dismiss him if he caught a different kind of turf horse next time out.
But John's going back to the dirt with him.
He is.
So maybe he doesn't think he's a dirt horse.
Maybe John could have been wrong. And listen, I think distance is this horse's friend. And I don't know about the others.
So Shug McGay, Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher.
Okay. Hold on a second. You're going to run them 7 or you're going to run them 9? You're going to run them 6, 7, or 9 up here. We don't have the mile up here.
Okay.
So you don't have much of an option.
But wouldn't they go back to 7?
At 4, 5, and 6 to 1, I'll take my chances with a horse that's run well enough around the 2 turns at twice the price.
But he hasn't run well enough, and he hasn't done it around 2 turns. He's never run 2 turns in his life on the dirt. I mean, you can come up with a Fugazi 2-turn last time, but all of his dirt race.
The mile and 8, the 2-turn race was on the turf.
So it's not 2 turn. Right. Okay, it's 1 turn. Okay. Race number 7. Well, I think Tama here has found the right field, and with the scratch of passing out, it makes it even easier. And Tama here, who did kind of run off last time from an outside post, will show him, winning the Sands Point last year. And Speak to Me of Summer will have real trouble in there. Now, obviously, been a lot of races since then. Tama here has been a disappointment. There was a lot of people very excited about her after this race. And obviously things didn't work out, but I thought her Jenny Wiley was pretty good. And I just think she's better than these horses, Anth.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And this is another field where you're catching some horses who they look like they've all kind of tailed off, no? I mean,
I don't know about Speak to Me of Summer, because I think she actually ran fine 2 back off the layoff.
That race last time was terrible, Andy.
What's that?
I thought that race last time was terrible.
Well, okay, I'll disagree. If you watch Speak to Me of Summer's last race, she got in significant trouble down the backstretch and legitimately got taken out of the race. And it was a race that was pretty much dominated on the front end. So I thought she had enough trouble in there to suggest that her race was a little bit better. And I think she's going to run well today. But I disagree. I didn't think she ran terribly. Some of you can watch it at home and see if you agree or you agree with.
I thought the price was with Tez. Her last race, she kind of woke up a little bit. She got a pretty good trip and a pretty good ride from Chris Landeros that day. She gets Jean Velasquez. She's going to be a little bit of a price. I didn't really like Speak to Me of Summer's last race. Sweet Melania, I think, has just seen better days.
We'll get to her in a second. I want to talk about Witez before we talk about her.
I thought Witez, who ran well up here last summer as well, could be okay at a price.
Well, Witez is a nice horse. She's, to me, absolutely a last time was the time horse, and I think she's running against significantly better horses today than she ran against last time. And the reality is her form is a little bit buried because she had gotten buried inside in a couple of races before her last race and really never had a chance to do any fair running. And then last time she got it, you're right, she got an excellent ride by Chris Landeros and got absolutely clear and was able to make that clean outside run, which she had not been allowed to do.
It was a great
in her prior
ride.
races. The problem is for me, she's a total last time was the time horse, and she's running against tougher. Now listen, I get it. Listen, I've never liked Sweet Melania. We'll look at her last race. I don't think she's ever a horse that's won when she hasn't had everything her own way. This is not her last race. This is here last year in Lake George. she's the speed, and she scares me because she does have good races. But I agree. She is very hard to trust, Anthony. This was when she was good. Now, she should have won this race, but she didn't have everything her own way, and she still lost.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of... It's almost a tale of two cards for her, right? Because the race in the Sand Springs isn't terrible. But if you look at the 3 races she's run her last 3 starts compared to how she began her career, I mean, it just kind of looks like there's been a lot of catch-up by the rest of these fillies.
I mean, to be fair, her Sand Springs wasn't a disaster. I mean,
I just said the Sand Springs was okay, but the other 2... Those 2 races surrounding the Sand Springs.
You and I are in the same spot. I'm not a big fan either, but she is the controlling speed.
She's supposed to be.
You know, I'm not going to be surprised. Well, I mean, you would
what do you
think
what do you do with I'll handle the cash?
Tyler's got to be aggressive to a certain extent. He can't just strangle her down, and Tyler's not a rider. Tyler's perfectly happy to be forward in races, so I agree.
Andy, it wasn't like last time. They were flying in the license fee.
No,
she didn't show any speed last time.
I'm not. Well, sprints are tough to show
I wanted to
speed,
play a little 6-9 with a backup 6-4 in here. Yeah. That's how I wanted to play this race.
Can I take a 4 over the 9 for lunch?
No, I like them both. I wouldn't split hairs like that.
Trying to get to 100. I'll get there.
You won't.
Don't worry. I'm already up like a bunch in Saratoga. I'm just getting rolling here. I mean, I'm sort of on a 1-a-day plan here.
How many are we going to bet on the mini golf?
None. They've got enough cash in the line in the mini golf. The lunches are horse opinions. They're not mini golf.
Yeah, you pick your spots.
They're horse opinions. They're for the fans. For you.
No, we've bet on movies. There have been movie bets.
Race number 8.
Now he's quiet.
The certainty on today's card was that in this wildly competitive, interesting race, you would default to your friend Big Package.
Of course.
And here is Big Package winning 2 races back. My problem with Big Package, who obviously can win this race, you're betting a deep closer in a big field that is very competitive on paper. And I am not picking a short-priced horse that comes from the clouds in a big field here at 5.5 furlongs when I think there are a lot of unknowns. I have no arguments one's the one to beat, but I think he presents the likelihood of bad value.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think there's enough pace in here, and I understand what you're saying. I think a Rad can work. If I'm going to put my money in anyone's hands, I'm going to put it in the Rad or Joel's hands.
But you're putting it in their hands at 2-1 in this spot.
Yeah, I understand
not
that.
Be 3-1.
I got that. And it's funny. I went 1-2 with those 2 guys in here. I thought Gypsy King was a little interesting, as did you. I just think Big Package will get enough speed and a decent enough setup. The 5.5 could actually help his cause, going a little bit faster. And
I don't think the distance
get
matters
him outside.
at all.
Just let him roll past them.
Unlike you, I think less distance is often the friend to horses that are closers, especially in turf sprints. Gypsy King. I mean, Gypsy King is dangerous because it's Wesley Ward, and you just never know what to do with his horses.
Never
and they're
know.
Live. He ran okay last time out. He dueled with Momos. Now, Momos did beat him in that race, which I don't think is to his credit. But he ran well enough as a 2-year-old, routine improvement. He could be a player in here.
Gets Lasix for the first time, like you said, sophomore debut. Gets Rosario, Biana close to the lead. He's going to be a decent enough price, too, to find out. Yeah. I think there's plenty of places to
Wesley
go.
Ward's numbers are okay. He's about 26%, 77 starters, and 6-month-plus layoffs in turf sprints. Lower ROI, but his horses take money, and I don't think this horse will be super short. Though if he's live, he usually gets bet. Noble Emotion. Wow, you've left your friend Noble Emotion. That was a great pick by you last out. He's going to take money in here. I don't like Noble Emotion. I think this is a much tougher field. And he absolutely was handed the race when just nobody made any attempt to be aggressive.
He's better when he can control moderate paces. Yeah. He's not controlling a moderate pace in here.
You wouldn't think. You never know, but you wouldn't think.
So
he doesn't Bally Dooley, the new Luley Tough Bally Dooley, have to go. I mean, how can Eric rate him? He's been aggressive with him twice
for the last 2
and
races.
gotten the money, so he's got to go here.
Yeah. No, it looks like a little too crowded a front end for a horse like Noble Emotion, who had an absolute dream scenario last time. It looks like it's almost a 180 in here today. It went from an easy lead on a moderate pace to having to mix it up with some fast horses early.
I'm a little interested in United and Resolute, and boy, am I glad that my good friend Tom Amos didn't mention to me that he was running last time at Ellis Park, because I would have gotten crushed betting him at 7-1.
I don't think Tom's here. He wasn't at.
No, well, he has. I don't know if he has to be back. He's on TV until Friday, so I don't know if he has to come back for. He wasn't
at. He wasn't at Workhouse this morning for breakfast at Saratoga's. First morning I missed him.
This horse got, I think it's safe to say, the worst ride of 2021 in a major circuit in the William Walker at Churchill Downs. I mean, was that a nightmare? And I'll tell you something. He's got Luis Saez, and he can be a bit forward here. He doesn't need a lead, but he can be forward. So I think he's a horse that, if the pace is hotter, he can sit a little off it. And if it's not, he can be in position. He's definitely got to improve. There's no doubt about it. He has to get a little bit faster to beat horses in here. But I thought he was an interesting, improving horse, and I wanted to give him a little shot at a price in a race that I just thought, I think King James is dangerous in this race. He ran well last time to break his maiden, and he's a horse that probably less distance is better for him. What about Amsden? I know he's a big price and he failed last time. These Wesley Ward horses are scary. I think there's an awful lot going in here. And I even think your third choice, the 2, Colton's Command. I know you have a thing for this horse, but Belmont's had some success at times, not a high percentage, cutting back in distance. And there is some ability somewhere in this horse because he showed it first time.
The maiden race was fantastic. It was sensational. His last 2 races are just so bad that even I had to jump ship a little bit. But
well, you didn't totally, and I don't blame you. No, I thought about using him.
Yeah, he cuts back now. David has him 5-1 on the morning line. You kind of feel like he's got to be a decent enough price where if you chased him.
Yeah, I was surprised he was this low.
Well,
this is a tough. Listen, I don't want. I made a line in this race, so it would be the worst line in history.
I don't know if he's going to be 5-1. He probably. You and I probably thought the same thing. Maybe lay him 8 or 10-1 on the morning line, and if he gets bet down, he gets bet down. This is the price he'll probably be.
It's hard to know.
It's a wide open race, though. So if you're playing multis like I do, he's a little bit of a bigger price than 5-1 in the multis because the money's
hard to know.
There's a lot of places the money has to go in.
I think the point, the general point of this race is that there are a lot of unknowns and a lot of interesting horses in here, which is why I wouldn't default to the favorite in big package. That's my general feeling. Though he could absolutely win this race. Race number 9, Sadie Lady came out, which definitely changes the pace scenario and probably hopes Honey I'm Good, frankly.
Yeah.
Probably should have moved that horse into 4th. Some pretty good form. At the end of the day, we'll take a look at Bell's package winning. Bell's the one, excuse me, Bell's the one winning last time. I think Miss Mosaic, who's finished 3rd, is a dramatically improved. It took him a long time to get her to the dirt, and she should have been running on the dirt her entire career. It's amazing how much she improved when they finally got her to dirt. Bell's the one just better than these horses. Now, she has never run in New York, or she has. She ran the Acorn against Guarana. She was 30-1 that day. She hasn't run in New York since she's got good, but she's faster than these horses, and she's a better horse than these. She's beaten better horses than these. She's too good for these horses if she shows up. I'm not trying to beat her. I'm a little bit, I tried to make a case against her, but she's better than these horses.
I took one chance against her with Lake Avenue, and the only reason I took a little swing against her, she's clearly leaps and bounds the horse to beat. I don't trust her. She's thrown in too many questionable efforts for me.
When is that?
Well, I don't know what happened. 2 back.
Well, she broke slowly, and it was a slow pace.
I know it was the Breeders' Cup, but she didn't really run particularly well
she
in
ran
the Breeders' Cup.
She runs as well as she did in the Breeders' Cup. She'll win this race.
I don't think she ran that well in the Madison behind Guarana.
She runs that race. She'll win here.
Yeah, you're just going by the fig. I'm not going to just go by the fig. I'm not going to just go by the fig. I don't think she ran particularly well in those races.
The problem is, while you're saying this, Anthony, you picked a horse, and I picked her second, and we'll show her last race. I bet her last time. It was a sickening beat. She was clearly best. Wasn't Junior's fault. Getting the rail just put her in a tough spot the whole way. You're picking a horse, and normally you would say, well, this horse has one big fig on a sloppy track, and it's a dry track today.
That's a terrible impersonation.
Your only fig that puts her in hailing. Your only fig that puts her in hailing distance of the favorite. In hailing distance. 5 lengths. Is on a sloppy track last time. And let me just say, and I think Lake Avenue's a good horse. I like her. She's got to be 6. Where's your confidence that she's going to be as effective at 6?
Listen.
These are all questions. If I like Lake Avenue, you didn't. These are all things you would say.
There's not a ton of confidence. I think now I made the picks with Sadie Lady in the race. With Sadie Lady out, I think you probably want to be a little bit closer. Lake Avenue will definitely be closer than Bell's the One. Throw in the New York factor, like you said, she's only running here once. She's done the bulk of her best work down in Kentucky. Listen,
But Lake
I'm
Haven's
using.
not going to be that close in here.
She'll be closer than Bell's the One will be. I'm using the two. Listen, I'm using the two of them. I have no illusions that Bell's the One is not the best horse in a race. I just think she's a little untrustworthy at somewhere around even money, and I wanted to take Lake Avenue.
The horse I think is dangerous in here is Reagan's Edge. We'll go back to her second place finish in the Priors last year behind Frank's Roquette. Who really hasn't been as good as a 4-year-old. She was as a 3-year-old, but the good Frank's Roquette would be the second choice in here, and justifiably so. This was a very good horse for Cherie DeVaux last year. And she comes back at 2-5. I don't think she had the worst of trips, but she did get bumped coming out at the start, and she wasn't in a particularly good position. Maybe she's not any good anymore as a 4-year-old, but it was her first start, and Cherie thinks enough of her to run her in a tough race like this. This horse at last year, with any routine improvement off that, and obviously some question marks, she's going to be very, very tough in this race. So I'm going to use Reagan's Edge in here.
And in her defense, if you like her, when she made the second start of her career from a September to March layoff, she ran okay.
That's a good point.
Huge jump.
That actually makes me a great point. That could be the official great point of the show.
Andy, that last race was not good. The last race was just not good. Okay. And yes, maybe she needed to knock the rust off a little bit.
It's going to be a price in here, Anth.
Yeah, I don't know. David has it a third choice.
He's the same price as Ain't No Elmer's. Ain't No Elmer's being here. And by the way, Not For Nothing.
Yeah.
That's a terrible name. That's a terrible name. Come on, guys.
The only, you know what I would want to mess with the price here? Don't call me Mary, who has improved since the blinkers came off for Todd Pletcher, and since, quite frankly, Todd took over the training. The one bad race was in Saratoga last year, but it was followed up by a 6-month layoff. She's run better with each start, I think, and maybe at a little bit of a price, you could try and sneak her into the exotics. She's 12-1 on the morning line.
I didn't see her, but okay. Big price. Race number 10. Because I have seer-like qualities, I knew who Anthony would pick in this race, and we have chosen the replay for Prayer Book, finishing second, 3 back at Gulfstream. Why do you like this horse?
Fresh gelding, dropping down, getting back to the turf, and cutting back in distance a little bit. I know the race, 3 back and going a mile and an eighth, was probably the horse's best race. Yeah, this one right here, probably this horse's best race. I don't know. I felt like the 1.25 miles. Next time out was just a little too much.
It was also a 1 3/8, but it was also a race that was dominated forward.
I was thinking the horse.
He was kind of the only one that went backwards.
I just think the horse cutting back, dropping down, fresh gelding.
It's the favorite. I get it.
I just thought the horse
I didn't particularly like him,
made a lot of sense today.
I would use him. I thought Caribbean Gold might be the one to beat in some ways. To be forward in here, hasn't had the best of setups in his races, and I thought maybe he'd be able to control on the front end.
I thought he stunk last time.
Yeah, I disagree. I think he's able to get the lead. He'll be much more effective in these races.
But you don't see. I felt like they didn't really try to get the lead last time.
Yeah, I think they will today.
Okay,
they should have last time.
They should.
But they were also.
I bet on him thinking he was going to be on the lead last time.
Went to a faster pace 7-furlong race.
I guess.
Did Barclay Tag do something to you?
No.
Because you've left a lot of live Barclay Tag horses out that have done well lately. Why is Bunker Hill isn't in your top 4 here? This is like Linda Skrit or Ombre or all these Barclays.
I got no problem. Barclay's my man.
I don't know. Barclay, I think there's something going on
with
your boy here. I don't know. So Bunker Hill isn't like in a top 4 for you in this spot?
I don't like him.
Okay. Well, I think he's running against significantly better horses. He broke slow in a race that was dominated on the front end last time out. I don't know. I thought he was a very logical drop down to use in here and just sort of a very reasonable horse to put in your picks. And I thought he'd be a slightly better price. I put him on top. Not in the top 4.
I don't like him.
Really? Oh, can I bet she beats Flight to Paradise?
No, you can't bet anything. I don't have a good
it's a bigger
grip.
price, more in line.
I don't have a good grip on a race. I don't like.
Well, we know
I don't
that.
Like the race.
We've established that.
You established it.
Well, I think I'm not the only one. I don't know. Listen, the 10, I don't know if the 10's really that good. I just thought sort of a logical horse dropping in here. I would use 10, 3, and 6. And I'm going to use a little Empire Attraction in here, the 11, Bruce Levine.
That's great to know, Andy.
This horse broke about a length slow last time. I don't think ran that badly. I thought Empire Attraction might run a little better as a second time start. There was a lot going on in race number 10. I just wanted to fault the Prayer Book, finish second at Gulfstream. I thought there was more going on in this race, so do a little bit more in race number 10 as we kick off the week. You don't want to talk about horse racing? What do you want to talk about? Literature?
I didn't say.
Dinner?
I didn't say
No,
that.
the show was over for you. You decided the show was
I
over.
got distracted.
You did like a Buddha over here.
I got distracted. I had no opinion on the 11. I got very distracted for a few minutes.
Okay.
That
You
was
need
it.
to head over to Naira Bets here. Promo code SPA200 will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game. Support racing in New York.
Very
Also,
important.
The contest, Saratoga Saturday contest, $300 buy-in. Head over to naira.com/contest for more information. You have until Friday at 5 p.m.
That says online only, by the way.
Online only. Can we please use a different color scheme? Because nobody can read that. Nobody, except for Anthony, who's closer than I am. But if
Much
you
closer.
stick your face right next to the TV, which is basically what Anthony's doing, you might be able to
Squinting.
see it. Saratoga Live today, July 28th, 1 to 6:30 p.m. on FS2. We begin the car with a steeplechase race. Joe Clancy, Liza Hendricks, and myself will be joining you at about 10 of or so to talk about race number 1 as we head into America's Day at the Racing. We hope everybody.
Saratoga Live.
I finally started live and I finally figured out the name of the show. It's really, it must be some sort of odd mental block.
And we'll go back to Belmont in 7 weeks, and,
And
it'll
I'll
be
say
like
Saratoga Live.
Live. Oh, no, wait.
I know. It'll be amazing. Anyway, we're done. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga. And we have a beautiful Wednesday. Temperature in the mid-70s. The main track is fast, and the turf courses